Hi, welcome to First Pages. Today I'd like to share with you the first few pages of Seashells in Summer from my new release, Seasons of Love. Lily, Lily, where are you? Her heart pounding painfully, Taylor Brightman scanned the empty aisle. She'd only turned her back for a moment, but that was long enough for her 4-year-old daughter to disappear. Panic rising in her throat, she searched the small market, every news story she'd ever heard about missing children taking up residence in her head. Does this little cutie belong to you? Whirling around, relief washed over her as a woman in her late 60s with perfectly manicured nails, a stylish coif, and immaculate wardrobe walked up, leading an adorable little girl in a floral romper by the hand. Cold from the linoleum floor chilling her knees, Taylor knelt and wrapped her arms around her daughter. Where did you go, love bug? You know you're not supposed to wander away. A butterfly headband holding chestnut bangs off her face, Lily squirmed in her mother's embrace. Mommy, you're squishing me. Loosening her hold but not letting go, Taylor laughed. Sorry about that. I want you to hold on to the buggy, okay? Remember I said you have to stay beside me when we're in public? Because of stranger danger? Lily's eyes widened into saucers. That's right. Is she a stranger? Lily pointed to the woman who'd found her. Well, yes, I suppose she is. But we're going to introduce ourselves so we won't be strangers anymore. Extending her hand to the woman, Taylor said, Hi, I'm Taylor Brightman. Thank you for finding Lily. Oh, it was nothing. The woman waved her hand, her laughter tinkling like ice cubes in a glass. I'm Marjorie Van Allen. It's a pleasure to meet you. Taylor's eyebrows shot up. Everyone on Nantucket Island had at least heard of the Van Allens, a wealthy couple who spent 3 months out of the year summering in their massive estate overlooking the ocean. They rarely ventured out in public, preferring to remain a mystery to their neighbors, though the bigger one was how Mrs. Van Allen ended up on this side of town. Chuckling at the puzzlement on Taylor's face, Marjorie explained, This is the only market on the island where I can buy my favorite caramel creams. I like those, Lily piped up, eyeing the treats in the woman's hand. You do? Marjorie laughed. Well, maybe your mommy or daddy will buy you some. The little girl wrinkled her nose. I don't have a daddy. Oh? The look on Marjorie's face was all too familiar to Taylor. She'd seen it many times before and sensed the woman's condemnation building. It wouldn't be the first time she'd been on the receiving end of some know-it-all's opinion of single motherhood, and she sighed inwardly, knowing it wouldn't be the last. It irked her, though. No one ever bothered to ask her circumstances, and in this day and age, did it really matter? Taking Lily's hand, she gave Marjorie a brief nod of her head and turned the buggy towards the checkout lane to stave off the anticipated rebuke. I'm sorry for your loss. Taylor stopped and turned around, the shimmer of unshed tears in Marjorie's eyes taking her by surprise. Before she could speak, the older woman took her hands and squeezed gently. It's hard losing someone you love. I know firsthand. Our only child, Richard, died last year during his tour overseas. He was a Marine. Amid the tears that crept down her cheeks, pride shone on Marjorie's face. She thinks I'm a widow. Choosing her words carefully, Taylor replied, You have my sympathies. I'm sure he was a fine man. Yes, he was. I'm sure your husband was too. Thank you, but there's no need for condolences. I've never been married. Marjorie's eyes flew to Lily. Oh, I'm sorry. I just assumed. Taylor shook her head, smiling broadly to alleviate the woman's discomfiture. Please, don't apologize. It's fine. I never met a man whose interests aligned with mine. Which interests are those? Not one to readily share her personal business, especially with strangers, Taylor found herself opening up to her curious audience. Having a family, you know, a house full of kids, white picket fence, dog in the yard sort of thing. It amazes me how the word baby terrifies even the most virile man. Marjorie's eyes twinkled. I think most men are that way, at least one time or another, until they meet the person they want to spend their lives with. Then, all bets are off. With a quick glance at Lily to assure the little girl was beside her, Taylor remarked, What makes me think you're speaking from experience? Oliver Van Allen may have been enjoying his bachelorhood before meeting me. A wink accompanied the statement, but Marjorie's love for her husband was apparent, and even without meeting the man, Taylor had no doubt it was wholly reciprocated. I'm sure he thinks you're worth it. Sensing her daughter's restlessness, Taylor picked her up. You okay, love bug? When are we going home? Wailing, Lily's whiny tone was a precursor to a full-blown meltdown. It's past nap time. I've got to get her home. It was lovely meeting you, Mrs. Van Allen. Marjorie, please. Marjorie, I hope we have the chance to meet again. Why leave it up to chance? Consider yourself invited to dinner tomorrow night. 7 o'clock, or is that too late? 7 sounds perfect. Do you need the address? No, thank you. I know where it is. Glancing at Lily, Taylor observed the thunderclouds building on the girl's face. A nor'easter was fixing to blow, and if she didn't leave soon, the entire market would need to batten down the hatches in the wake of her daughter's tantrum. She edged towards the checkout, praying the storm would hold off until she paid for her groceries. 10 minutes later, hefting a cranky 4-year-old in one arm and a food-laden canvas tote in the other, she wondered if she should sign up for a strongman competition. Those athletes had nothing on her, but once she reached her car and strapped Lily into her car seat, the realization that in the not-so-distant future her daughter would be too big for her to carry made her sad. It was a short trip from the market to the small cottage that Taylor owned, but Lily fell asleep the moment the car started moving. How she envied her daughter the ability to drift off like that. Pulling into her driveway, she noticed a blue rental car parked off to the side, the driver nowhere about. Figuring someone had mistaken her drive for Judge Ferguson's next door, she dismissed it and unloaded her groceries and sleeping child and slowly navigated the path to her beachfront house. It wasn't until she'd almost reached the end that she saw an unfamiliar man sitting on her front porch. The driver of the rental, she presumed, though she couldn't imagine what he was doing here. Probably needed directions or something. He looked harmless enough. In fact, he looked better than harmless. All right, downright adorable, in light blue linen button-down shirt, paired with tan khakis, a bristly crew cut beginning to grow out, and an easy smile. He stood as she approached and reached to take the bag of groceries. Taylor Brightman? How does he know my name? Not entirely clueless, she shifted Lily onto her other arm and countered, Who are you? Rather than answer her question, the man repeated his own. Are you Taylor Brightman? Figuring the sooner she answered, the sooner he'd state his business and leave, she nodded. Yes, I am. Now suppose you tell me who you are and what you're doing on my porch. My name is Grant Cutler, ma'am, and that's my daughter you're holding. Pretty good, huh? So if you would like to find out how that story ends or read one of the other stories in Seasons of Love, please click on the links in the description. I hope you're enjoying the videos of First Pages. Please subscribe to the channel if you would like to be notified when I post new videos. And happy reading!